Okay. Okay. Hi, this is Ebanie Bridges, the Blonde Bomber, and this is Seconds Out.
Okay, Ebanie, what I really wanted to talk about is the most anticipated rematch in women's boxing between the pound-for-pound box rec rated #1, Katie Taylor, and #2, Delfine Persoon. How do you, I mean, we know how the first fight went. It turned into a real dogfight. It was very close. You and me both think that Pearson should have got the verdict. She didn't get it, but it was a close fight. And so she's going to be out. Is it going to be repeat or revenge? How do you see this playing out second time round?
Look, honestly, I don't see it as a repeat. You know, KK was really smart. She's a brilliant athlete. You know, and I think them taking that fight against Christina, another kind of pressure fighter, was a good move for their team. Because, you know, Christina loves to go for, like, to have that dog fight as well, you know. So I think that was a really good move. And the way she outboxed Christina, I think that was like almost like a practice, you know, because obviously Christina is not as intense as Pearson. But I just think, I definitely think I see Katie Taylor learning from her, you know, mistakes and evolving as an athlete as she does. She's very professional. You know, I kind of I want to like relate it to the male boxing, but you know, like AJ and Ruiz, you know, like he got caught into that dog fight as well, and look what happened. And then, you know, he's a smart enough boxer, and he's an athlete and a true champion that he made that adjustment, and he just did the outboxing, and I think that's exactly what Kay does, you know, and that's what she did the first couple of rounds of that fight. That's what she was doing brilliantly. So I think if she can have that discipline, which it is very hard to, I know as a fighter, as a fighter that likes to fight, it is hard to have that discipline to be a smart boxer, because you get caught up and you just want to fight, you know, and I think it's honestly a lot harder to fight smart. It is. And, but I do think that Katie Taylor can definitely do it. She's that kind of athlete, just like I said, like AJ, and I'm really, really excited for it. It's still going to be, I can still see a lot of fireworks. I can still see it being, you know, a tough, close fight, but I just see Katie Taylor knowing not to get caught in that dog fight.
Well, she's got that incredible pedigree, hasn't she? And that's what really, you know, was lucky. You think she should be able to outskill Pearson.
Yes.
She should be able to, but you know, she did get caught up in that dogfight. And you were saying about you know, the first Ruiz Joshua fight. I was actually thinking about the about the Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran fight the first time, when you know Duran made that a dogfight.
One of my favorite fights.
Psychologically and physically into that real sort of his fight. And the second fight was pretty much a shutout, because Sugar Ray skills. And I wonder if that's the way it's going to play out.
Yeah, because these type of boxers, like the Sugar Ray Leonards, like, you know, your Katie Taylor, like boxers, they can box. You know, it's like they don't. It's not like they've only got one dimension. You know, but it is. When you firstly come up against that, I'm sure, you know, like it's one of Katie Taylor's first real dog fights. You know, like you sometimes you would get caught up with that. It makes total sense, you know. But like, you know, Sugar Ray Leonard, like, you know, AJ. If you're a good enough boxer, which I totally believe that Katie Taylor is, I think she'll learn, adapt, and she'll overcome that 100%. And I just see her definitely doing a shutout. Boxing, jab move, not staying there, exactly what she did with Christina Lindau. That's exactly how I see it. And I also heard, I might have read somewhere, I could be wrong, that Pearson is coming off some kind of pneumonia or injury. So I'm not sure, you know, she'll be in her A game either. So
that's possible. She went for the Olympic trials. She wanted to go to the Olympics. I believe she lost in those trials in London in 2020, which obviously is all now. But it just shows you the difference between 3-round fighting and 20 fighting. But definitely. The thing is, I mean, talking about Pearson, she's going to really want the same fight, isn't she? That plays to her strengths. So she's going to want to drag Katie in. So I mean, what would you? So we kind of know what Kate needs to do. We think Kate needs to do is rely on her skills, outbox her, you know, slicks down the outside, you know, boxing behind the jab. Pearson needs to drag her into a dogfight. How do you think she's going to do that? Do you remember Pearson complained about Taylor in the first fight? She said waging psychological warfare on her. Now, comparing back to the Sugar Ray Leonard fight as well, and the Duran fight, Duran drew Sugar Ray into that dogfight long before the first bell. You know, insulting his wife, driving past the hotel, swearing at him, all these type of and questioning his manhood and all that sort of thing. Do you think Persoon needs to do something now to annoy Taylor, to get under Taylor's skin, to drag her into that dogfight? What would you do if you needed to get that boxer to fight you?
I'm not huge on like shit talk. I'm not huge on that. But I would definitely be putting out how much stronger I am. I'm feeling the strongest ever, and I've learned so much. And I would say, I'm going to bring something new, and I would be getting her like, okay, you think you had me that way, but I learned from that fight as well. And, I would probably be saying things like that. And yeah, definitely saying things like, Katie can't punch, because, and I putting it down like that, like how many knockouts you got, blah, blah, these kind of things. Like, you could totally do that. I think that I'm hoping that Pearson has, learned and maybe even with that amateur training, she had learned a little bit more amateur style, that kind of who knows. But I think Pearson still personally needs to keep that pressure on. She doesn't have the skill to be able to outbox Katie, no chance. But she has to be smarter on her way in. She has to be smarter with the defense. And she has to be a little bit more patient, maybe. Pick her shots because she has strength. She has that power, and Katie is a little bit vulnerable. You've seen her, look a little bit rattled. So if Pearson can slow it down, just not super slow, but pick those shots, and the shots that count, then why not go for that kind of game plan, so to speak.
Yeah.
But like I said, it is going to be a tough. It's going to be a very tough fight for Pearson, because Katie Taylor would have learned so much from that fight, and I think Pearson could have learned. I would have learned as well, but I just don't see her changing too much.
Yeah. So your pick is Taylor in this fight. Are you going points, or do you think it's stoppage?
Points. Yeah. I don't.
Yeah. And a wide margin, do you think?
Sorry.
A wide points margin. Do you think it will be a sort of shy if she sticks to the right game plan, or do you think it's always going to be really tough?
No, I do think there will be
the rematches that we both or the matches that we both mentioned. Yeah. The second fight was a shutout. The second Sugar Ray Leonard-Duran fight was a shutout. After those really closely contested fights, so do you see this playing out the same way, or do you think it'll always be a tough fight between these two?
I haven't talked about a Sugar Ray Leonard fight, but also Duran wasn't there as much mentally for that fight either.
Second,
so it wasn't.
Second fight is still a mystery, really, isn't it? The no mass fight.
Exactly. So I mean, there's a lot to that fight. But Sugar Ray Leonard did obviously outbox him, and Duran did what he did. And I think Pearson could be very similar, coming in not as she's only had 5 weeks notice or 6 weeks notice or something like this. It's very different circumstances. In that case, if she had maybe from the get-go, she could be preparing a lot more for it. Who knows? And there's so many things behind it. But I still don't see it going any other way than Katie Taylor outboxing the shit out of her, to be honest. Like, she's gonna make it simple. She's just gonna be simple basics, jab, jab and move, 1-2 move, 1-2-3 move. Maybe if she gets in a little bit in there, she might hold, because you don't want to get tagged in there. So do what, hold and then jab out and do it again. Jab, move, 1-2s, 1-2-3s, 4s. But that's it. I see her coming in and out and moving. I don't see her sitting in the center of that ring at all. Because that's just doing what Pearson wants, sitting on the rope, sitting in the middle of the ring. And we don't, you don't want to give anyone who fight, you don't want to give them their fight. We know that Pearson can't box like Katie. So why not box her,
And do you think there's going to be any such thing as home advantage here? Obviously, it's 22nd of August. It's in the Matchroom back garden, the 4th week of Eddie Hearn's fight camp. So no crowd. And do you think that's going to affect the boxers? How do you think that's going to affect the boxers? How would that affect you? And do you think it adversely affects either one more? I mean, Katie surely is the one that's used to boxing in front of huge crowds and has her whole career.
Yeah. Yeah, but look, I'm not too sure about Pearson's amateur background. I'm not too sure. But I mean, I know that Katie Taylor, for example, I'm sure she's boxed before in small, like, amateur boxing. Sometimes in those nationals and there's like 50 people watching. Like, okay, the Olympics is a little bit different, but your nationals and your state titles, there's like hardly anyone there. Like, you know what I mean? So she's probably used to also boxing and performing without that loudness and that crowd. But I also just think that, and I think Pearson, if anything, will need it a little bit more. Yeah, I believe. that's what I think. I'm the kind of fighter that would need it. I mean, I still box my hardest, but I'll get the crowd behind me and that's it. Like, but in a way, maybe if you don't have the crowd behind you, you might be able to box a bit smarter. You know what I mean? Because they don't egg you on. You don't get caught up in it. Because I know, like, if I'm just the style of fighter I am. Like, I want to impress the crowd. I want to fight hard, and I can't help doing that sometimes. Although I get told all the time I have to be smart, but I like a fight, and so I think it could work. You know, it's so hard. You know, I'm one of those people that look at all these angles, but yeah, I think no matter what, it's going to be an incredible fight for female boxing. It's a fight that all the fans have looked forward to. It's all the fight that all us female fighters look forward to. You know, it was a great replacement of the Serrano fight because I think Katie needs this for the unfinished business. You know what I mean? To really prove herself. Because unfortunately, when you have a performance that the fans don't, you know, like it's kind of you know what the fans are like. Like all of a sudden, like, you know, you're shit. Like, you know, oh, maybe you're not as good as I thought because like it wasn't a perfect 10-round fight. You didn't win every single round, so that means that you're shit. No. So I think in a way it's going to be good. It's going to get, you know, again, more fans and just showing that she she wants to give the fans what they want and she's happy. And that's you know, that's women's boxing. We're happy to fight people. You know, that's a big thing. We've been fighting whoever and anyone we can for years because we had no options. So that's the good thing about female boxing. And hopefully it doesn't change too much. But yeah.
So moving on to your own career, Ebanie.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you had a decent amateur background as well. And then turning pro, and you're 4-0 now, and you've got your eye on some names in the UK. What made you do? Because you were a very successful bodybuilder before as well. So what made you make that transition to boxing?
Okay, so I mean, I've been a massive fan of boxing my whole life. I mean, like, just watching boxing, you know, I'm huge. You know, like when I was in my teens, I was like Costa Zoo was my hero. Like, you know, so like I'm like big, been in boxing. I did martial arts from the age of 5. You know, I did karate, I had my black belt, I did kickboxing. So I was always into martial arts. I was always into fighting. I was into street fighting, anything I could punch and hit. I got a bit older and I realized it's not really smart and it costs money. So I changed my life. You know, I changed my mentality and who I was. And, you know, I went on the straight and narrow, and that's what bodybuilding did for me. It got me off that kind of rebellious, crazy kind of, you know, whatever I was on. And that bodybuilding taught me some serious discipline. Yeah. It's you know, you think boxing is discipline. Bodybuilding is next level. So bodybuilding makes boxing seem quite easy, like, you know, so to speak. Because I love boxing. I love punching shit. Like, you know, so when I did my bodybuilding and I achieved everything in my bodybuilding, I got national titles, I got state titles, I did international competitions, you know, I won numerous things. I was a judge. I still coach now. I've got a lot of girls in, like a team that I coach for their competitions. I was like, I don't want to do this life anymore. I don't want to lift weights anymore. I'm over this dieting life. Like, you know, I was like full on. Like, what do I want to do? You know, what am I good at, or what do I always like? And I'm like, oh, you know what? Like, I like punching shit. Like, I like hitting things. I've always liked fighting. The only reason I couldn't fight, and actually professionally or amateur back then, was because it was illegal in Australia, or in most states in Australia. We weren't even allowed to fight until 2008, females in Australia. Or in my state, it was like one state you could fight. And back then, when I was like 14, I'm like, I'm not traveling to another state to fight. Like, you know, it wasn't really, what do you call it? I don't know the word. I'm not very good with my vocabulary. Anyways, it wasn't, you know, something in my mind. So that's, you know, so it never was really possible. So then when it was all kind of allowed, I was like, okay, well, I was still bodybuilding. I was like, this is pretty cool, but I'm on my bodybuilding path. So once I got over that, I was like, yeah, hell yeah, this is what I want to do. Like, let's smash some stuff. You know what I mean? Like, let's do this. And because of my background, as in, you know, obviously always been a fighter, and a fighter from the heart and the spirit of what I've been through, and just like, you know, actual fights. Like, I mean, I've always, never been an issue for me. I've always, you know, so I think I progressed really fast, and also I'm very disciplined from my bodybuilding, and determined that when I set my mind on something, there's no quit, there's no stop, and I do everything, and I'll train like crazy because I need to get better. And obviously, I mean, if only the amount of boxing, you know, if we could just watch boxing on YouTube and like just be amazing boxers. But I do think that the amount of boxing that I watch, you know, I can talk. You bring up any fight, I can probably talk to you about it in and out. You know what I mean? Like, I know that much boxing, so I'm always watching it. Not that it really helps, but it does a little bit, you know, because I'm always learning. And I might watch a fight, and then I'll go in my garage and I'll try some shit out for a bit. I want to try that, like Canelo, like, you know, like, or whatever. So I'm always kind of learning, and I think that's what made my progression really fast. I've only been actually fighting for three and a half years. Yeah. My first amateur fight. I fought amateur for 2 years, and I had 30 fights. I was 26-4, Golden Gloves, state title, all that kind of stuff. But I just smashed it out, and then I was like, you know what? Got to get this stuff off my head, get these little gloves on, and let's knock out some people. You know? So that was pretty much where it came, and that's where I'm at, and you know, that's the story.
You've got a big Twitter following in the UK already. You know, you're making waves, and I think you've got some targets over here, haven't you? I mean, we want to get you over here to fight as soon as we can, and we'd love to see you. You've got some specific targets, some people you're looking at.
Well, I mean, it's funny because I didn't really have like real targets, you know. Like I just want to come and fight in the UK because I love the British fans. You know, this was before I even had the following. I'm like, I love just British boxing. Like I love the fans, the stadiums. You know, like, and I know if they see me, they'll love me. They'll love the way I fight because I've got that Ricky Hatton kind of style, like that real, you know, like go in there and just fight. Before I even got the following, I was wanting to go over there. I thought, okay, how can I get over there? I can just get over there and I'll fight whoever. You know, and then I got on Twitter, and then everyone started doing the whole me and Shannon Courtney thing. Even though, mind you, Shannon Courtney's heavier than me, but I don't mind. You know, like I wouldn't mind. And I wasn't really fussed on it too much because I thought, oh yeah, whatever. And I started thinking, okay, well, you know what? Actually, this would be a pretty cool fight. And everyone, whenever you hear my name in the UK, it's always Shannon Courtney. But personally, I want to see her get through ball first. So I mean,
the week before Taylor, isn't it? So
yeah, you know. And I've watched Shannon's fights. I mean, I think it would be a good fight. I think it would be an exciting fight. I think in general it would be a great fight for sales. I think it'll be able to be marketed really well. There's no bullshit in that, you know. I think that, you know, it's gonna draw a lot of attention. And I'm all about that, giving the fans what they want. You want me to fight this person, I'll fight him. You know, I don't care. You know, I'm a little bit older. I don't have, you know, I don't have another 10 years, or maybe, fingers crossed, but I don't really see that. I'm not 20 years old, you know, I'm not 25 years old. So I'm not going to sit here and play around. I want to see my fans. I want to fight for my fans. And if I've got fans in the UK, I want to fight there, and I want to have good fights, you know? So yeah, I'm just happy to fight whoever, really, you know, UK, America, whatever. So yeah,
and what about the next steps, Ebanie? So obviously, we'd like to see the Shannon Courtney or the Rachel Ball fight in the UK in the future. You know, but what about the immediate next steps? Your next outing, anything planned and training at the moment?
Yeah, so it's so hard here in Australia. I have a fight lined up in September. I kind of like a COVID comeback fight. You know, a girl that's actually been calling me out here. If she watches this, you're crazy. But she's calling me out, so you know, she wants to smoke, she's gonna get it. But so I'm gonna fight her just because she wants it. And then, you know, I think it's going to be a good fight for me. She's a tough opponent. She comes forward. She likes to, you know, just come forward and throw punches. But yes, I think it's going to be a good fight in that sense, because I kind of like that, because that means I get to come forward and sit and punch up with her. You know what I mean? And I just know that I'm able to sit and punch, and then they stop coming forward. So I'm looking forward to that fight. I don't like fights where they run away from me. I hate it, but you know, personally for me, you know, stylistic, I do love the people that want to come and fight. I love those fights. I don't like chasing people down. So I think that if this fight happens, it'll be a good fight. It's meant to be in September. There is word and talk of a sooner card, on a big card that hopefully you guys in the UK will be able to watch. But I'm just in the works for that. Had another option, another talks. Again, it's all just, you know, it's all thrown up in the air because of COVID. Fighting in November against a well-experienced undefeated fighter. I'm hoping that happens, because that'll be a great fight for me, great experience fight for me, and especially for Australia, a really big, probably one of the best female fights in Australia for a long time. So that fight happens, fingers crossed. That'll be really, really exciting again. And yeah, that happens this year, and then I'll come over to the UK and whatever, Commonwealth titles, I don't care. I'll fight, knock some bitches out.
So for a busy end to the year, and then maybe in the UK next year.
Fingers crossed. I'm hoping for a busy, Australia. I'm hoping we can fight. There was talks with my manager. My manager's split T, David McWhorter, in New York, and Brian Cohen. They work together with me. They did talk about, earlier flying me to Canada to get some fights. Like anywhere that we can go, I want to get these fights. So I'm not fussed on fighting in Australia. Like I said, I feel like I want to be overseas. I want to be in my camps overseas. The quality of training, the quality of sparring partners is just out of this world overseas, like compared to Australia. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like so I think that's my best options if I want to get better, and I want to have the good fights.
Yeah. So, okay.
That's it. That's for me. And then
You'll be very, very welcome in the UK. We really look forward to seeing you when you do get over.
I honestly can't wait. But you know what? I think what it depends, obviously, on promoters in the UK. I've talked to some, but I'm one person doesn't really like talking about things until they're happening. I don't do that, So if I do come, there will be like I want to come before I fight. It's like a bit of a meet and greet. I want to do that. I want to come over there and I want to see the UK. I want to train in some gyms. I want to meet some trainers. I want to meet people. This is the kind of shit that I want to do. Like, that's what I thrive off, Yeah. So I'd love to do that. Feel myself. I've never been to the UK. I've never been to Europe, and I think that would be a smart move for me, just to see if I could, how long it takes me to get over that jet lag. How long all these kind of things. It's a long flight, so I might just come over for a bit of a party first, and then.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that because all my followers are crazy. I made a joke. Oh, I didn't. It wasn't a joke. I was serious. I did say that after I fight in the UK, we'll have a big after party and we'll have a party. And then some of my closer UK followers sent me a message and you probably shouldn't have said that. You're gonna get like in trouble. I go, I don't care. It'll be fun. Whatever. Like I love boxing. I love the fans. I love the boys. It's all happy for me. I'm very grateful. I'm very blessed with it all. So got to make the most of it.
Yeah, brilliant. And I was really excited to hear earlier that you were training with Nigel Benn sometimes down in Sydney.
Yeah. I know it's unreal. I haven't actually, because as you know, his shoulders are no good at the moment. He's getting the cortisone. He had some PRP, I think, recently. So he can't hold the pads at the moment. But before he went over last year, when I was coming back from my ankle injury, because I broke my ankle last year in that debut fight. Anyways, I was coming back from that, and he was doing the pads for me, and that was really good. We did a lot of work, quite a bit of work together, and it was really, really, really exciting.
Well, so hopefully been down here, and he's such a great guy, and what a great guy to get, to talk to about what the fight scene's like in the UK, what the gyms, where the trainers are, where to go, where to get started. Yeah, great guy.
Yeah, well, for him to tell me that I punch like a man. I mean, he's not the only one that said that to me. I literally was down the coast 2 weeks ago to the New South Wales rep coach, our representative, like Boxing Australia coach. He held pads for me the first time. He said the same thing. So, I mean, but when Nigel Benn says it with his power, and he literally was like, whoa. He's like, you hit like a man. And I was just like, yeah. And I'm like, he goes, don't get offended, because he's lovely, he's so polite. He's like, don't get offended. And I'm like, no. But he's also very hard. Like a hard, like we're training, like, because I'm a joker, you can tell, I like a banter. And so he put me, I guess, you got to be serious, none of this joking around. Like when we're training, I'm like, oh, no. He goes, just don't talk, don't say anything. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But it's good. You need that discipline. I'm just like that. So sometimes I'll have a little bit of a joke, and it's like, box. I'm like, okay. yeah, all right. I just got to get that finesse, right? Anyway, I've been working on it. You guys will see.
Yeah, well, we look forward to seeing that.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to show you what I've learned and what I've been practicing during COVID. My sparring's been unreal. My sparring partners, not sure they're loving it, but it's been unreal. I'm so excited. The more time I have, the more I learn, the better it is. You know what I mean? It's all about experience, and each fight I get better and better. And I think that's what's really exciting about fighting. I just want to pump them out so I can, because I know every time I have a fight, I learn something new and something else to take home. So,
Yeah, well, we look forward to seeing it.
Sorry, I talk so much. Did they tell you this?
Well, we came to talk.
I know, it's boxing. I can't. I'm so much. It's shut up, Ebanie. just like. What do you like? Excuse me. Can I have say some words and like? It's your turn now. You may talk.
I'm just blown away. No, that's brilliant. So we've got that prediction. That Taylor Pearson prediction. So you think it's going to be Taylor by a good few rounds. She's going to box smart, box clever, and frustrate Pearson. And obviously we're looking forward to seeing your development and what you've been working on during this period. And I'm sure the sky's the limit for your career. So we look forward to seeing you back in the ring later in the year, and we really look forward to the UK. Thanks very much, Ebanie.
I can't wait. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate the chat, and and I really am looking forward to this Pearson fight, and Katie Taylor. Let's go, KT.
And it's going to do a great job, isn't it? Because it's going to raise the profile of women's boxing so high. I mean, it's a really
definitely
first time we've had a women's boxing hugely anticipated rematch that we're all talking about.
Yeah, so. Well, I mean, Terry Harper and Jonas is another big one as well. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for that one as well. But yeah, this Katie Taylor, she's how can you not love her? And all those fans that talk shit and turned on her because she got into a bit of a brawl. They're gonna be eating their words. I don't see Pearson winning more than 2 rounds, to be honest.
Yeah. Great.
But yeah. Hey, if I see Nigel, I'll tell him you said hi.
Oh, please do. Yeah.
I will.
Yeah,
I'd love to see him a bit.
We'd love to back next time he's back over. I mean, we had with him. He is just so engaging, entertaining, interesting, fascinating. Yeah. He's
brilliant. He's a real, got so much charisma, and and that's what made him as well as a boxer, and I think character's really important in boxing.
Love him, absolutely love Nigel Benn. If you were around in that era when he was fighting, you're a Nigel Benn. You know what I mean?
I'll have to show you this, but I draw. I don't know if you know I draw, and I've drawn a picture of Nigel Benn. I really quite good drawing of him. I could probably go and grab it, but I don't want to. I'll do it later. But he's one of my favorite. Him, Nigel Benn, Hatton, and Lennox Lewis, my 3 top fave British boxers. So and so for me to live around the corner is what? but now with the with just being friends and stuff, get over it.
Yeah.
It's not.
The scene over here, I'm sure you'll bump into him when you come to the UK. He's running his gym up in Manchester. He's training fighters, and I expect there'll be an opportunity, to go up there and train up there, maybe train with him, and get some sparring up there.
Incredible! I can't wait to get some sparring in the UK. I've talked a little bit to Amy Timlin, and Terry, even Steffi Bull. He's invited me down there, so I'm super excited to get over there.
Yeah.
All right.
Brilliant.
No, I really do appreciate your time, guys. I love the UK. I love the fans, and it's such a pleasure and a privilege for me to be on your whatever channel, because I listen to a lot of your stuff. I watch your stuff, and I'm big. Like I said, I'm big in boxing. I'm a fan. I'm not just a fighter. So, yeah.